Hi everybody, hope everyone's doing alright. I am putting together this little video with a big ass drum to show you guys what's going to be popping in your ears when you listen to the posts and stories and things that I make on my profile. I could very well keep on using the plethora of sound from other people, other artists. I don't necessarily have their permission to do it, so I am putting together the soundtracks for whatever I put out on social media.
Thank you very much!
I'm going to be playing a variety of sounds in this instrument called the tambor de Minas, or caixa de folia. It's literally translated to drums of Minas, Minas being the state over here, which means mines. So this is an instrument that has been used for hundreds of years by former slaves and also slaves at the time of the 16th century that featured these drums in their religious songs. These songs are mostly Catholic themes mixed with the rhythms and some rituals from the Congo mostly, but also from other African tribes. And the first sound you're going to hear is called Serra Cima. It means up the hill. It's a sound that is used in many different ways, either speeding up or adding a rim or adding an extra beat.
Get to the chopper!
That helps with wording. I think we're clear. Alright. I'm looking at my planner here to see what I'm going to play, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different little families of sounds.
Oh, bother. How long will that take?
And you get an idea, a little learning experience here of how these sounds interact. They're pretty much applicable in any kind of a song. Usually after practices and after rehearsals, if I hear anything on the radio or on my phone or on someone's car blasting music out and about, I can place several of these different beats in the songs. Let's give it a rip. Let's see if you like it. So it's one stroke with the left hand, 3 with the right. It's not prohibited to do it a different way, it's just how it's usually done. If your dominant hand is your left hand, then you flick the drum the other way and you have one stroke with the right hand, 3 with the left. I've played and helped people play with both hands.
You are a bad boy.
To get a nice clean sound, you want to hit the skin of the drum. This is not actual skin, it's nylon. We want to make sure we hit it. Just flicking the fingers, not even wrist, is not even the whole arm. It definitely adds power, but we don't need to spank this thing to death. We just want the sound to come out, and there's a nice, easy flick of the fingers as we hold it like this. About a quarter of the way, we get a hit off and a bounce. And the left hand is similar. The sound is slightly different just because of the hand placement. You can hit the middle of the drum without an issue, but it's mostly a sound that goes off a little bit to the side, so it's a little bit more open. It's not the deep boom that you get in the middle. And the left, we hold it in between these two, just like this, so you can flick it. To get the technique down and to play quickly especially, you want to make sure that your fingers are doing the work. Usually with these songs, there's a movement with the body too, either walking forwards, taking a step, and coming back. Sideways. Will they speed up? Will they slow down? There can be some turns and swings as well. Sometimes full twirls. And it's not only what the drum does, it's also the movement and a bit of the choreography. And also, when you know where each foot's going to be, you know what time things are coming in. So that usually helps people stay on track. Okay, so Serra Cima once again with some movement. This one we call Se Acima Preguiçoso, which means the lazy one. And it's lazy because we eat a couple of the notes. And so instead of doing 1 left, 3 with the right, or 3 with the dominant hand, you just do 3 hits. 1 with the dominant, 1 with the one up top, and 1 down. So you get a slightly different sound. The intensity depends on what the song really requires. The variations like this. That's the traditional, and then you get the lazy one. Next, we got one that's called Baião. I actually don't know what Baião means. My brother had a friend whose nickname was Baião, and to this day, I don't know what it means. I've been playing it for 3 years, and it never occurred to me. I gotta ask somebody. What this means, in terms of what needs to be played, is usually you'd hit it and it'd sound like this. But with the Baião, keep the pressure on. There's not a lot of pressure, and you can't just smack it, otherwise you won't really get that draining of the vibration. What you want to do is you hit it right in the middle and you keep the pressure right on the skin. If you do the Baião, it's
1 eternity later.
It's a different way that the sound travels through the drum. It's one of the notes that we use in Se Acima and other rhythms too. So the Se Acima would be like, and what's actually done quite often, instead of having everything hit the skin in the Baião, what we do is we add a couple of rim sounds, and some of the drums actually have a metal plate over here and a metal plate up top for the left hand to hit, so we get a very different type of sound. If you have lots of drums together, it's hard to hear that, so we try to put all of these sounds together so you get a nice cling in the middle of the song. When we add the rim to the Baião, you get something like this. So what you get there is, one of the hits is in the middle, 2 of them go to the rim, and the thing that needs to sound the strongest is the big left hand.
Is that it?
I can go even stronger with the left, throwing it in, and I can go a little softer with the right, so I get an even flatter sound, and it's not just a dampened boom that I throw in. And if my musical terminology is not spot on, because I don't have any sort of musical education aside from learning how to play, this cousin of mine who teaches at a university here, he's taught me everything I know. He plays with one of the guards, they're called, that play these traditional songs. He can show me and play anything in front of me and I can play back, but if he gives me a bunch of notes in front of me, I can't do it. One day I'll get there, but for now, the vibes move me. Another variation of the traditional one, it's a very simple variation, it's just adding another hit of the dominant hand right at the end of those 3 strokes. It's usually played by a famous musician here called Chizumba, and we get an extra hit at the end, and it sounds like this. fun. Every time we switch in between different sounds, we get all sorts of signals, you know, going up, going down. And what I did at the end there, speeding it up and keeping it going, it can be done with all sorts of different beats. It's what we call the galoppi. Galoppi means the gallop, like the horse's gallops. Next one. We'll go forwards. In 4 cycles. We will add a variation, a little bit of a flair on the 4th one. Or we could just do something going forward, change it up, forward, change it up, just to add a little bit of spice there. So it would be kind of like this. Every couple cycles too. Now the sun's going down here and I have lots of other variations, so I try to keep them quick. But with any type of beat, we could do a slow motion. It's actually one of my favorites because you get a total shift in the vibe. So the traditional, as you're exhausted of listening, is when you slow it down, it goes.
Damn, dude, that's tight.
Yeah, I like that shit.
It's a strong sound. I love it. This one is also super cool, the Serra Baixo. I might have to turn the light on because it's getting kind of dark, but let's go. Stroke of the right hand, 1 stroke of the left, 2 of the right, 1 of the left, and another right. It's a really fun, powerful sound that is, I think, my favorite actually, the Serra Baixo. And we can throw some things on the rim to get a variation too. We can speed it up and mix it up with Serra Cima.
Damn, that shit feel good.
It's fun to mix it up, and I was doing the Serra Cima on the 4th cycle there. And Xochi, it's usually a type of song. It sounds exactly the same in Portuguese as a shot that you drink. So usually that's the sign that you see. Let me flick a light on it because it's fucking dark. Does that help? Yeah, it does. So, Xochi goes kind of like this. I forgot the Xochi. So for for these cycles, we will usually have 3 variations. One where we just keep alternating from skin to rim. We could do a couple of the hits, or we could alternate with the left too. Usually a signal like shot zero is like this. Just continuous, forever alternating. When we do Shochi 2, then we'll go. We add these 2 and Shochi starts with 1, so it kind of sounds like 3, like I said, Hashima. And then we have the alternating, the taka taka. Since it's a rising sound, so we'll be signaled to go Shochi 4, like 4 rising. So it goes. So louder, quicker, rising, Shoch number 4. This also has a lazy variation. We'll go Shochi lazy, like going to sleep. So the lazy version goes like this. Couple of hits, right? It's like the shot 2 minus the left hand. We don't have a lot of the alternations. We could keep it going too to have like a shot preguiçoso zero. So it's like this. So go lazy, galopi all together. It's weird, but we can make it happen. And the shochi galopi is kind of nuts, but I can show that too.
Nice.
I fucked it up a few times. Let's see, what else? The sun has set. Marcha Viana is a very simple one. Since we're always moving, usually hitting the drum when our foot hits the ground. Marcha Viana is usually when the knee's up, because it's different from a beat that hits when we step. Here's where the dominant hand is really dominant. The left hand just kind of chills for this one. Sometimes we have a slower kind of a variation. You're hitting the notes that hit the ground. So we'll go. I could do this all day.
Hey, how long can you do this for?
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I got it all day too.
Listen!
Why are you yelling at me?
I'll do this all day. I'll do it all day.
Water break, water break. Didn't think it'd take an hour to do all these. So usually what happens for this one where I swing the thing over my head and get really mobile, this is usually called the answer or the question. I actually have a question about that. But usually you have a group of people either with a drum this size or a smaller version. They have different names. Very small ones called
Chama.
it means call, and it also means like little flame. The Santana is this one, the big one. The Santaninha is like in between the Chama and the big one. Different people will play slightly different things. So while I do someone will be doing same exact hit, but on different steps. So you get a continuous exchange, so question and answer. Another one of my favorites is called a Congo. Usually is signaled like this. Congo meaning Congo.
That's all I have to say about that.
Let me play it for you. Usually the more experienced players are at the back of a line of 4 or 5 people, and if things get complicated and people get lost, and I don't notice it because I can hear it, or they're starting to look around confused and not playing, I'll try to signal, or someone will point to them to look at my drum, and I'll make it nice and clear that they can see what is happening with the drum.
Oh, now I see.
For the Congo, we usually have this alternation of hands. Lots of right hands, couple of lefts only. And I can make it sound even flatter if I really push this note off to the side instead of the middle. That's the Congo. And like we've done with the Serra Cima, we can do a couple rims on this left hand especially. It's not usually done this way, it's something that I've experimented with and it's kind of fun. But again, if everyone's just hitting the skin, this sound won't really be heard unless everyone's doing this. So it goes something like this. If you want to get really off the beaten path, you can alternate your hands more, but this is usually how dominant the right hand is. You get most of the strokes in with the right hand, but I do like to mix it up. It might add a little bit of a different sound, but if you're hitting the middle, it doesn't really matter. Getting close to the end.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Marujada, I think it stems from this. The word marujo means sailor. And this one's really cool because it's just very different from the other sounds that I play. The Serra Cima sound more like a march, right? Going up or down a hill. The shot is usually, it's used in more popular songs, more like a carnaval type of vibe. It's more flamboyant. And the marujada is just more flowy. Right, it's just an odd timing for things. Marujada is usually played just with a dominant hand, but it's so fun to do it my own way. I'll just do it all skin so you see it.
That's the good stuff.
I like alternating with the left even though I'm not supposed to. So it goes kind of like this. Right at the end there. It's something that I do to help myself stay on track. You might have noticed I sing and I hear the rhythm. It helps me, forget what other people are playing. It's tough to coordinate my brain to sing a song, with actual lyrics when I'm doing the drum, because I am essentially speaking the thing that I need to do on the drum just to keep the flow, and it helps me miss less, even though I just nicked it. And you can also mix the rhythms together in that 4-step cycle. You can do the marujada 3 times and then 3 hits like the Serra Cima, which is really fun. So it kind of goes like this. It's really cool to do a variation with 1 rim, and we could do one with 2 as well, and I'll show it. And with the 2 rimmed variants, you can add more of a flair using the left hand off to the side too. So it goes like this. So you see how I mixed in the Serra Cima right at the end of the marujada there. All right. Gotta stay hydrated. This video is brought to you by water. Water. Can't live without it. Oh yeah! Okay, last one we'll do is the praying mantis. And I learned this in the middle of a song one day because I looked to the side and I could hear something odd going on. I thought immediately, I want to know how to do that. And then a second later I get called on in the middle of a song. The guy points to me and said, "You, see that? Do it." It was sick. So again, this is the praying mantis. Why am I warming up my throat? I'm playing drums. So that's kind of the galopi version without me fucking up the left one at the end. Let me do the regular speed. So this one kind of adds everything together. We're not really taught, these happen in progressions. You don't really build up from one to the other. Of course, you start with simpler notes and you go to more complex sounds. That's just kind of how my list worked, that I started with something that's in the Seacima used across all sorts of songs. And I'm ending with the Louva Deus or Praying Mantis because it's the last one I know, and also it just has a really cool mix between what's coming into the skin, both hands alternating, hands coming in and out. It's a really cool sound. I think maybe my 4th or 5th favorite though. Now I really like the Serra Baixo. I love the Marujada. Congo's dope, so I think it really sums up the power of presence we're trying to have in the streets, playing songs that have strong messages. This year's Carnaval, the theme that the leadership group picked really made me happy. It had nothing to do with it. They picked Brazilian fauna. The songs are going to emphasize, or at least try to get people's attention to what's happening all over Brazil, what's been happening since the Portuguese arrived, really. With cities growing, using animals as just another expendable object. So it's going to be a really cool one. I have a lot to plan. I'll see what I can do to help them to get the right messages across. We don't want to be childish with the types of songs we'll play, or with our costumes, or with the choreography and all that. We're going to encourage people to admire the beautiful things that are out there, the miracles of life. We're trying to hit the right notes, literally, in every sense of that expression. And we resort to the drums, to the movements of our bodies there. It's gonna be a really cool carnival this year. Playing about the things that matter, because there's a lot to celebrate, but there's a lot of work to be done. So with that, I think that's it. I played everything on my list here. I think that's all I know. I'll mix all of these sounds into my posts if the quality is good enough. I gotta see. And new video coming at some point, somewhat soon. I don't know when this is coming out. Thank you for staying tuned. If you like the look of the shirt, get your own. Since I'm my own marketing specialist, I can't stand it, but here's my stuff. Go get my stuff. The stuff looks good, the stuff feels good, the stuff does good. Sounds good? I'm tired of playing. I think that's it. Scene.